Okay, so today, so can you hear me clearly?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so today we want to focus on AWS service and service category. So the category of services that AWS offers. So in your exam, there are going to be a lot of questions on which service type of questions. Okay, there are going to be questions on, like for example, they will tell you, there is this particular network that we want to put a security on. Which services are you going to use? So services are so you have to know which all services are available in AWS. So if you go to AWS, definitely you will get to know different services. So this is something that you need to research on, and basically make sure you know, have the list of services and know which service is used for what. So that is very important. So you have to know which. So you have to know which services used for what. Okay, so this is very important. So there are going to be many questions out of the 65 questions. Let's see, products. So you see there is analytics service, application integration service, blockchain service, business application service, and compute service. So in compute service there's EC2 auto scaling, light sail. Then containers, there is elastic container registry, elastic container service, elastic Kubernetes service. Database, there is Aurora, there is document DB, then DynamoDB, Elasticache. And developer tools, there is Code Guru, Coreto, Cloud Control, API, CDK, Cloud9, and what else is here? So code commit, code build, code deploy, code pipeline. In database, what else is here? Redshift, RDS, database migration service, Glue, then front end, Amplify, API gateway, location service, Pinpoint, AppSync, device farm. In games, we have GameLift, Lumberyard, Internet of Things, IoT, and machine learning, SageMaker, augmented AI, Code Guru, and DevOps Guru. And so this is all machine learning. So in machine learning, depending on the type of application, for example, Amazon Poly turns the text into lifelike speech. Amazon recognition, analyze image and video. So you should have this one line of description, like you should have a list of all the services with this one line, you know. So you should be able to, know okay what is used for what. The Amazon Translate, natural and fluent language translation. Okay. Hold on. Let's go. Okay. What I wanted to, where it is. ओके या सो निकिता, आप आपको सुनाई दे रहा है?
यस सर।
मुझे क्या है ना, इसका ये पूरा सर्विसेज है ना जो लेफ्ट हैंड साइड पे है, आपको दिख रहा है जैसे एनालिटिक्स में लिखा है, एनालिटिक्स में क्या क्या है, अमेजोन एथेना है, ठीक है। तो ये क्या करता है, क्वेरी डेटा इन एस थ्री
यस सर।
यूजिंग सिक्वल, बराबर है।
यस सर।
हाँ, तो मुझे इसका एक लिस्ट बनाना है, पूरा रिपोर्ट बना एक, तो आप बनाओगे इसका?
यस सर। बना दूंगी सर मैं।
हाँ, आप मुझे आपको थोड़ा मुझे रिपीट करोगे मैंने क्या आपको बताया, क्या करना है बेसिकली?
ओके सर, ये एनालिटिक्स में ये अमेजोन एंटीना है जो क्वेरी डेटा इन S3 यूजिंग SQL है, तो इसका एक लिस्ट बनाना है। पर ये जो लिस्ट है सर, ये मतलब एनालिटिक्स में ये एनालिटिक्स अमेजोन
देखो
एंटीना
ऐसे करना है
अमेजोन
आपको,
क्लाउड।
मैं आपको बताता हूँ एक एग्जांपल।
ओके।
क्योंकि ना इसमें बहुत सारे क्वेश्चंस आएंगे, जैसे एथेना पे नहीं बोल रहा हूँ, सर्विसेज। तो सर्विसेज पे जब आते हैं ना, तो हमको पता रहना चाहिए कि कौन सा सर्विस किसके लिए यूज़ हो रहा है। लिब्रे ऑफिस कैल्क अगर यूज़ करोगे तो इसमें ऐसे लिख सकते हो, सर्विस कैटेगरी, ठीक है। ये हो गया एकदम हाई लेवल कैटेगरी, तो इधर आपको लिखना है एनालिटिक्स। फिर इधर सर्विस, इसके अंदर जो सर्विस है नेम, तो कौन से सर्विस है इसका अंदर, जैसे एनालिटिक्स के अंदर आता है अमेजोन एथेना, अब इधर लिखोगे अमेजोन एथेना।
ओके।
फिर इधर सर्विस डिस्क्रिप्शन, तो सर्विस डिस्क्रिप्शन में क्या आएगा, तो सर्विस डिस्क्रिप्शन में आएगा एनालिटिक्स अमेजोन एथेना क्वेरी डेटा इन S3 यूजिंग SQL। तो आपको लिखना है इधर क्वेरी S3 यूजिंग सिक्वल, ऐसा ही कुछ है ना उधर, क्वेरी क्या लिखा है, क्वेरी
हाँ।
डेटा, ओके। सो क्वेरी डेटा इन S3 यूजिंग सिक्वल। तो इससे क्या
ओके
होगा,
सर।
आपको एक आइडिया पता चलेगा ये सर्विस काय के लिए यूज होता है। ये इट इज़ यूज टू क्वेरी द डेटा इन S3, किधर और नहीं। डेटाबेसेस तो बहुत होते हैं, लेकिन S3 में डेटा क्वेरी करना है, तो ये एक आपको आइडिया आ जाएगा। तो नेक्स्ट टाइम इफ एनीबडी इज गोइंग टू आस्क यू which service are you going to use query data in S3 using SQL, answer should be Amazon Athena। इसके अलावा एक
ओके।
टॉपिक चाहिए मुझे, जैसे एनालिटिक्स, एनालिटिक्स काय के लिए यूज़ होता है, वो उसका डिस्क्रिप्शन छोटा सा एक। तो अगर मैं प्रोडक्ट्स में जाऊं और सोचो मैंने एनालिटिक्स क्लिक किया, तो ये जो फर्स्ट पैराग्राफ है आपको पेस्ट करना है रीड करके। और Amazon provides a broader selection of analytics service that fits all and data analytics needs and enables organizations of all sizes and industries to reinvent their business with data, from data movement, data storage, data lakes, big data analytics, and machine learning to anything in between. AWS offers purpose-built services that provide the best price, performance, scalability, and lowest cost। तो ये बहुत बड़ा हो जाएगा, सिर्फ एक लाइन डाल देना, फर्स्ट लाइन।
ओके
ठीक है,
सर।
तो एक बार एनालिटिक्स का एक डिस्क्रिप्शन डाला, तो ये दिस इज वन सर्विस अमेजोन एथेना। सो व्हाट इज द नेक्स्ट सर्विस ऑन द लिस्ट, सो नेक्स्ट सर्विस ऑन द लिस्ट इज अमेजोन क्लाउड सर्च मैनेज सर्च सर्विस, है ना। तो इधर आप लिखोगे अमेजोन क्लाउड सर्च। प्रोडक्ट्स वो क्या करता है? इट इज़ अ मैनेज्ड सर्च सर्विस. तो आप ऐसे एनालिटिक्स का पूरा कर देना, ठीक है? तो सब नहीं करना है आपको, बेसिकली आप थोड़ा करना, थोड़ा कुणाल करेगा.
हेलो.
हम्म. सुनाई दे रहा है? कैन एवरीबडी हियर मी?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, so what I'm saying is just distribute at least among four of you. You know who's going to do.
Hello.
Hello? Hello?
Nikita, we can't hear you.
Hello? Can you hear me?
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir, you are audible.
Okay, okay. So,
हेलो. सर आपका आवाज ब्रेक हो रहा है सर.
okay, okay. या लगता है आपका नेटवर्क थोड़ा so so if somebody can if y'all can, so basically as a homework, y'all do, I feel everybody should do this, just note down and practice, try to, by writing you will remember everything, and so that next time if anybody is asking you, you should know this, okay? Which service is used for what. So Priscilla, can you also take this up? Everyone can take this up as a homework.
Yes, sir. Yeah. You
So
can
y'all,
tell us like how many we have to do. I'll do it, sir. Yeah.
yeah, means ideally I would want you to do everything. If you want to clear, clear your AWS exam, no, you have to know at least most of the important services. So, for example, in security there is Cognito. What it is does, it is doing identity management. Amazon
Yeah, administrative.
investigate potential security issues. Manage guard duty, manage threat
Okay.
detection service. These words should remind you of something, and maybe you will not understand exactly what it is doing, but at least the term should be a little familiar to you, so that that is a beginning point. So,
Okay.
in order to clear the exam, you have to, there are a lot of questions on which service is used for what. So, if you are not sure about which service is used for what, then it is going to become problem in the exam. So this is a homework. Ideally, I would have it for everybody. So
Sure.
I would say if somebody wants to, you want to share it on LinkedIn also, this is a good blog you can write. Which service is used for what. So Pranav, so Kunal, Pranav, Priscilla, and Nikita, can you all each do this homework on which service is used for what?
Yes, sir.
Yes sir.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay. So that this list should always be there. And if you have any questions on what is this service actually do, means you don't understand it, you know it is doing managed search service, but let's say for example you do not know in detail, then you come back and ask me, and then I will go deep into that service. If I and I'll try to explain that, especially if it is an important service. So remember this. So this is your homework, okay? So I'm just putting it down. Because this is very important for the exam. And yeah, hi Croydon, good afternoon. So make a Excel, or or you can use Libre Office Calcs, to uh, list and describe service category and services. in AWS. So this is your homework and this is very important. Okay. So I have given you a little bit idea. So all the services are there in the products. You don't even have to log in. So just make sure this is done for your own benefit. So okay, let's look at the student guide. So here in the in your syllabus in this particular guide, you will not be described all the services. So this is where you don't want to miss any questions, and that is why you have to do that extra exercise. So okay. So this diagram, if you see, it is kind of giving you analytics, and just now we saw what all analytics services is doing, right? So even from here, you can come to know that analytics is doing cluster computing, real data, real-time data, like real-time data warehouse, data workflows in databases, relational database is supported, NoSQL, caching is supported. In application services, queuing is supported, orchestration, app streaming, transcoding, email search. So, but exactly which service is doing queuing, for example? So, can anyone tell me which service does queuing in AWS? Anyone? Any idea?
So queuing is with regards to DynamoDB.
No, queuing is. So let me just quickly, just tell what is queuing. Anyone idea what is queuing? So queuing is, you can say this is like your, you're like a post office. Okay, so in the center there is a post office over here. So queuing is like a post office, and a lot of people want to, customers, what they do, they post their date, letter. So everybody is coming with letters over here, and every time somebody gets into the letter, it gets into this post office as a queue. Let's say, everyone's data is over here. And what is this post office doing? It is taking the data and giving it to the appropriate application on the other side. So which it is called addressees, right? To whom you have addressed to, that person will get that data over here. So in this case, let's say you have written some letter for A, then A addressee will get over here. So maybe somebody else has written a letter B and trying to put it in the same queue. So the B also gets in the queue. So here in the queue, how does it look like? In the queue, it will look like something like this. So A will be in the first because A came first, so A will be in the beginning. Because B came second, so B will be behind, standing in the queue. With that particular letter, and for whatever address it is in the queue over here. So somewhere on the other side, the addressee B will be located somewhere else. It doesn't matter where they are located, and but B is not the same as A. So the location of B can be different over here. Right? Now, what is this post office is response? Now, is post office concerned with which customers it is dealing with or which addresses? like is it like kind of a sole, is it attached to any one particular customer? The answer is no. Post office is not attached to any one set of one particular customer. It is a generic service, like a transit service, where it helps all the customers to take their information and pass it on to the target application. So this is so you can say there is a source of data is coming from here, and there is a destination of data over here, right? So customers, what they do, they you can say they publish information. So publish is same like you're going to the post office and putting your letter and say, now you're telling the post office, yeah, this is, I put it in the queue, publish. And here on the other side, the opposite of publish will be subscribe. So subscribe means B is telling if anybody is sending the letters, if it comes from B, all the letters that are coming from B, you send it to me, So when you say subscribe means it is also possible that you can multiple people or multiple applications. In our case, it is you can say applications. So this can be applications on the other side, application 1, and this application may be some kind of your service which is written in Java, let's say, and this will be somewhere on, let's say, so application 1 maybe, let's say, Kunal's account is the AWS, and that Kunal application is subscribed to this particular post office, to this particular customer B. And in the same, let's say, on the other hand, Priscilla also has an application in her own account, and she is also subscribing to the same queue which has been posted in particular account in the particular post office. So that is what post office, if you notice, it is first of all disconnected service. Now, what does disconnected service mean? It means if customer A could not take the data and, let's say, put in over here, will the post office stop? No. If anybody on either end of the post office, either the customer's end or the addresses end, if both of them are not functioning for some reason, so in this case, addressee and customers are nothing but, you can say, on kind of application or data, so on the left hand side the data is coming in, and on the right hand side the data has been pulled out. But the post office does not get affected if you were not able to put in the data. But if you are able to put in the data over here in the queue, then post office is saying, now you what is the other advantage? It is a disconnected service, means customers now can forget about whether the letter has reached or not, right? That would be the, post office will take care of making sure the letter is in the queue, and until and unless the receiver has received it, it will keep it in the queue till that point and remove it once it has once it has been given to the destination. So all these combinations can be possible, like post office can say, I will keep the letter for 1 hour, and after that it will move out of the queue. In that time, if anybody wants to take it, then take it. So so for that you have to, so this kind of services is kind of resembling a queue service, okay? And so in queue service you can so you can say on the left hand side there is a S3 file, okay? So every time I'm adding a file in S3, I want this file data to get pushed into a queue. And somebody on the other end will say, every time the data is coming from S3, you pull it and give it to me. So what is the advantage? Advantage is, both the applications on the left hand side and the right hand side, they are not dependent on each other, because they are, they're just waiting. They're just looking at the queues, if is anybody putting the data. So everybody can operate on their own in their own time. If if there was some error in the application on the right hand side, if the server went down, A can still keep on posting to the office, and later when B is up, the B can pull out the data. So that is what queue service is. So in AWS SQS, This is the service which is used for queue service, simple queue service. So it is not only about the data over here, but it is also about the events. Okay, so data can be captured, events can be captured. So events can be like, you know, events can be you know, some trigger, right? Alarms. Let's say the billing has gone high above $100. One event has happened, or let's say some other. So this is like an urgent event. So we'll say you know, something simple event. Um, let's say so let's say billing only. Okay, let's, for example, billing is greater than $100. Once this event is fired, you know, this information will go and be put in the queue, and then somebody on the other end can you know, will, whoever is subscribed to that queue will get that particular data. So remember, in this queue you know, there are different queues. Okay, so there is a queue and there is a B queue. So A queue is basically all the data that is been published by A. So all that envelopes that is been published by A will definitely come in that queue in that particular order over here. So this is one queue, this is another queue, and on the destination you can tell, I want to subscribe to A, I want to subscribe to B, right? So so events, as I told you, I hope you'll understand events now. You know, event is something that has happened in the system, and now you want to notify somebody about this event has happened. So this kind of you know, your so we, for example, you could use notification services, right? Simple notification service. So so simple notification services is like some notification event you want to raise, and this notification service can be linked to your simple queue service, so that the advantage is you know, what is the advantages of using queue in that case? Because let's say if I have a million notification, I'm sending SMS, let's say. So if I'm sending SMS to million people, it is quite possible that it is not, should I wait for that, you know, should I do it in real time to wait to see everybody has received my notification and then I move on to the next one in the queue? That is one way. You know, you send one by one to everyone and keep checking whether it is received or not, you know, get some response back, and if it is not, then resend it again. So you can do all that magic on the left hand side on your own, or what you could do, you can break down your application in such a way so that whatever SMS you want to send, you put it on the queue, and whichever subscribers you have in your list on the other end. So on the other end, who all you have, you will have a database which will contain all your customers, right, where who has subscribed to your email, and you will just say, every time there's an email over here, I just need to pull it from here and send it to everybody, and the moment I send it to everybody, I will say delete this data from the queue. So queue helps you you know, create a kind of a disconnected service, and this kind of disconnected service helps you you know, is called loosely coupled. Okay, so it is not tightly coupled, it is loosely coupled, because the right hand side is though right hand side is directly connected to left hand side, they are still not bound, and each left hand side can stop anytime or push anytime, and the right hand side you know, they can be alive anytime, they can pull the data anytime, so they can every time go to the post office. So so this kind of architecture is also used in event driven architecture, we say. So you need to remember this. So in event driven architecture, one raises events, and you know, event driven architecture, of course, in real time, when events happen, we directly inform the destination application, okay, something has happened, but you can use event driven architecture combined with SQS. You can use simple notification service combination with SQS. Whenever you're using a queue service, what you're trying to do is you're using these architectures, you're using these services on the bottom over here, you're using notification and event driven architecture, but with simple queue service it becomes a more of a reliable service, right? You're creating a more reliable application. You don't want to miss that SMS that is gone. You don't want to at the same time keep your application busy tracking who has received what. So simple queue service lets you take that responsibility of you of your application and still let you function at the same time. So you can force on raising events and let the queue and put it in the queue and let queue manage sending it to the destinations. So is that understood? Hello? Hello?
So can you show the screen, like that screen?
Yes.
I can see multi-factor authentication. Yeah.
Yes. Hold on. Just let me log in and then I will get back there. Okay. Okay. You want to explain?
Yes, sir. So this service name is simple queue service, that is also called queue. So here you had given an example of post office where customers are sending a request
Customers
that is
are data.
customers are sending a data uh, that is to be published.
So let's say you're
That,
having a customers on the left on your website. Let's say
mm,
somebody is buying some product. Okay. In Flipkart,
mm, mm.
people are going to buy orders on the left hand side. Tell me on
Uh,
one particular second.
Many, sir.
Right.
Many.
So so that, and what will you do with that before even you complete that order? First thing you're going to do it is put it in the database. Is that correct?
Yeah, in the cart. Yeah.
Yeah, not in the cart. I'm saying once the cart is done, somebody has said, okay, this is my order. You need to put it in the database. No, when the order is fully checked out,
Yeah, yeah, correct. In the
because you need
database.
to process that order. Now you need to now send the person his product, right? He has completed
Correct.
his order, correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So how will you use queue services in this case and why?
So, so is it depending on the events?
Um yeah, you can say order event has happened or you know so basically your order data is coming in from the left hand side, right? If
Hmm.
person's order is coming as one set of data, in that order you will have the list of products that he has ordered and the amount of money he has paid, right? So this is coming like orders over here. Order number 1, order number 2, order number 3. So ideally in any application, what we would do every time the order comes in, one option is you directly put it in the database over here. Order number 1 has come, order number 2 has come, order number 3 has come. But then your website on the left hand side will be very busy, right? Because you are constantly focusing on making sure your order is reached the database.
Yeah.
Now, if the database is not able to manage your load, and it can break down, right? Then if database breaks down, this transaction will break down. Order
Stop.
transaction. If your order transaction breaks down, your website will not be able to process the order completely end to end.
Hmm.
Are you understanding?
Yes, sir.
So this is a kind of a tightly bound architecture. You're tightly
Which
binding your
is
website to
depending on
the,
one another.
sorry.
Which is depending on one another, sir.
Yes, so means you are tightly binding it. Now, if something happens to
Hmm.
the database, your orders also have gone away then. And your website is not going to be functional because of that, because you have tightly bound one service to the other service. One is the website service, another side is the database service. So what
Hmm.
I'm trying to ask you is how you're going to make, what is the opposite of tightly bound application? It is loosely coupled application. Can you repeat that? The opposite of tightly bound application is loosely coupled application.
Yeah, the opposite of tightly bound architecture is loosely coupled event driven architecture.
Loosely coupled architecture, you can say.
Okay, loosely coupled architecture.
Tightly bound is where two applications are very much connected to each other. And definitely, when you're dealing with any application, there is always going to be some database in the backend and some front end or some middle tier service which is connecting to the database service. And that kind of, if your data is not gone through from one end to the other end, your both the ends will, will come down. Now the question is, how are you going to use to make this a reliable application using simple queue service? Using the same example.
So you had explained that using this service, no matter the first service stops, what happens is, the left hand side information stops sending the request. Um, the right hand side can still take the information, and later when it updates, it can capture it.
Right. So let's say, so I'll explain a little better now. In the sense, let's say this is a database over here. So instead of connecting your website to the database, what you do, you connect your database, your website to simple queue services. So where is your order going to be? Your order is going to be here, over here. Order number 1, order number 2. Now let's say when you put order number 2, your database is down. Now, if your database is down, is your order lost? Where is your order now, right now, at this stage?
It's in simple queue service.
Simple queue service, very good. So this customer, this website has made sure all that the customer or the web service had to do, instead of putting the data in the database, it took the data and put it in the simple queue service. Now, let's say your website went down. So in time is equal to 1, when the order number 1 came, database went down, and at time is equal to 2, when the order 2 came, website went down. Is your order lost?
No.
Are both the applications down right now?
Yeah, both are not lost. It's there in simple queue service.
Right. Now let's say at time is equal to 3, time is equal to 3, in the third second, database came up. What will database do? Or what is that service which is connected to your database do? So let's assume you have a service on the right hand side which is connected to your database. Now that service is looking out for what the first thing that it will do is it will look out, was there any order placed in the queue? So what will that service find in the queue at that particular time? Time is equal to 3 seconds.
So it will check whether there is a order placed, there is a record of that order in the service. Then it will send a notification and then intimate it, and it can
No,
process it.
once it finds the order over here, it will say, okay, give me this order and take this data out of the system.
Okay, out of the system. Okay.
And what this fellow on the right hand side, let's say application 1 is responsible to put it in the database. Then this application's responsibility is to take this data and put it in the database over here. And then
Okay.
this application's responsibility only is to take the order from the queue and put it in the database. It doesn't matter which website has sent it. Then, you know, this order was meant for this application and this database, then this application pulled it from the queue.
Okay.
Yeah. Now at time is equal to 4 second, order number 4 comes in. So what happens? Order number, let's say 4 comes in over here and gets in the queue over here. So at time is equal to 4, the website is up. Okay. Let's assume this. Now at time is equal to 4, the database is also up. Now what will database service on the, what is the applications which is catering to database service on the right hand side do? It will pull the other records also, right? This is what it is created for. It will pull to, once it removes from the queue, it is gone then. Unless there are multiple subscribers. Maybe application 1 and application 2 both want this data. In which case, this data won't go out of the queue unless all the subscribers have pulled the data out. It will still be here, even if it is pulled by application 1, but application 2 also is subscribing to this particular queue. So because it is subscribing to queue will never remove it from itself unless all the subscribers have taken the data out, a copy of this. So the first application is supposed to store it in the database. Maybe the second application is supposed to send a SMS telling the customer your order is received. This fellow is putting in the database. This fellow is putting in the SMS. Now if SMS fails, will the order be here? So until SMS gives back the acknowledgement, like a handshake, you know, saying I am the data, I have received the data, I am all done and okay. Unless this acknowledgement comes back, the queue will never remove that data from the queue. Unless it receives an acknowledgement from everyone that we are done with our operations, now you can remove it from the queue. Is that understood?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So, so Pranav, you want to give an example of the same example of a website connecting to database where orders are coming in and orders have to be stored in databases and SMS has to be sent. How will simple queue service help you? How it is going to be used? You know, just explain how you're going to how this application is going to be constructed and why you're going to use it and what is the use of it.
So basically, suppose there are customers, and in the left hand side, which is mentioned. So basically, the customers will store the data on this database, and from that database, the SQS service, simple queue service, that will fetch those data into a database which is present out there, and which is used by applications, which is on the right hand side. So basically, suppose if the data from the database has lost, in that case, there is a SQS service where the data is there. So from there, it can be backed up again.
Okay. So this is what your normal application looks like. No, your website is there HTML, CSS, whatever, and your JavaScript, and you're connecting this website in the backend is connected to your database. On the left hand side, customers are connected, where they are logging into your website, and so they are logging into the website, and they are placing the orders on through this website like Amazon.com, Flipkart.com, and every time somebody places an order over here, Amazon what it makes sure it has to do two things. It has to not only put it in the database but also send SMS. So two functionalities are there. So in this example, this system is a like tightly coupled system over here. There is nothing in between over here. So it means if the data was not stored in the database, the SMS also might fail. You are putting all the code inside to write into the database inside your website. So instead of writing all the code inside your database, inside your website code, you just divide your code into three applications. One application is simply going to so instead of making a tightly coupled system, you make it a loosely coupled application. So all that the website does, it does not put in the database SMS. All that it does is it puts it in the queue. Then you create two applications on the right hand side which is going to pull the data from here. One puts it in the database and one sends a SMS over here. So a single application has been broken down into three small applications so that it is loosely coupled using SQS. So let us see if we can see something.
So I had a question. So with regards to the database which you said, that order, like for example, the order one, the order one that is stored in the SQS, that is in simple queue service, is it a backup or is it the original one, sir? Like,
no, it is original.
okay, there is no backup made, right? Okay.
No backup made.
Okay.
You're creating a post office service basically. That you're telling the office, I'm giving you this letter. I don't have time to send it, but you make sure it is sent. So I'm relying on you.
Okay, instead of me, that person is doing it. Okay.
Yes, I'm just delegating that request. Instead of me putting the into the database, that code I don't want to write in the website because I'm receiving millions of orders. I'm trying to tell trying to tell the queue, see, I'm very busy taking orders all full day. My website is very busy. I cannot just take the order, put it in the database, send the SMS. Then I'm trying to do too many things and I can break down because orders are also flowing in, no?
Correct.
Now, do you remember your Facebook went down for 6 hours?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, so this is what will happen because when the data is getting loaded constantly on one side, how much can machine can handle? A machine works only so fast. It is a machine after all. Okay. So your processor is like a wheel. How fast it can rotate? It can rotate up to a certain limit. And if you're pushing in the data from the right hand side, on the left hand side, the data is coming in. Your server is going to get crashed. And the moment it is going to crash, are you going to lose all your data? So the answer is if you want to make sure that the data is protected, you make sure your hands are free most of the time, so that you just data and put it in the queue. Part of your data is not lost at least, no?
Yeah.
So sometimes when we we are in the midst of our order, let's say we are making a payments, and payment is not happening through one party, no? That payment, they're like you go to Paytm is connected to your bank, your bank is connected to some database. If anybody breaks down in the system, your whole transaction may be failed, no? And on the left hand side, Paytm will not even know that bank has defaulted, and the customer is going to wait for your payment is happening. He'll say, what has happened? Paytm will say, yeah, I got the order, but bank will say no, I have not got the order. How will everybody coordinate. It is very difficult and very risky, especially in financial transactions. To make a tightly bound application doesn't work. So what does Paytm do? Paytm just takes your payment information and put it in the queue. And it will tell your customer, see, I have received your payment, I have put it in the queue means it knows it has put it in the queue. So for Paytm, it means if I have put it in the queue, I'm done. Now
Yeah. Okay.
about whether this payment is processed or not, somebody else will pull it from the system. So I will have my bank service application on the right hand side. For every bank, State Bank of India, one application may be running, because that State Bank of application will connect to State Bank of India database. The other bank is there, Corporation Bank. Corporation Bank will connect to Corporation Bank database. Every bank has its own REST services. You can see, you can say that there's different applications over here, depending on whom you have connected to through Paytm. Whether you have connected to Beam, whether you have connected to directly to your account, whether you are paying by credit card. On the right hand side, there are all these applications waiting as any order come from me. And how it is waiting, it is trying to poll the queue. Has something come from me, or maybe the queue will send up information to everybody that it has arrived. If it is your letter, take it.
Okay, sir.
So are you understanding the benefit of queue? Queue is a architecture. Simple queue service is a service that implements a queue architecture. So queues are used everywhere. In Java, there is something, I think, Java JMS, Java Messaging Service. If you use Java, then in Java also you can create this kind of service. It's called messaging service. Okay, so so it is a queue service.
I understood, sir. Yeah.
So there is a queue, so simple queue service. So this is a very important in architectures. Okay, so you have to understand this, know this, and know when it is used in the application, why queues are used. Queues are mainly used to create loosely coupled applications, to create disconnected application. One application is broken down into multiple applications, and all these applications are talking using those queue system. This is Amazon SQS is a message queuing service over here. So you could go in your learner lab also and practice all this. So for example, if you have not received subscription to learner lab, then let me know and I will add your name, or if you need it. So right now I think Priscilla has. So here I can go ahead and how do I start this learner lab? Yes, yeah, modules. I'm just giving you a demonstration of the learner lab also. Educator by student. Foundational services. Okay, no, this is not this. Actually, I have to log in as a different account. So, can I do that? I have subscribed using a different account, so I need to log in there. So let's say I'm a student login. I don't remember my password also.
So even I just have a one course subscription on that student learner.
You have a subscription?
Even I also need those access.
Okay.
Yeah, so actually I have done only one course from those. Actually, one is only visible. I need access to the others, like that learner lab and.
Okay, okay. Yeah, you need to tell me if you need it because
Hmm.
then I will add your email. What I'm trying to tell you is you can practice your lab over here if you don't have your free tier account. Or means if you have a free tier, you can try there also. But if you don't have a free tier account, you will be charged, no? So this is you'll get $100. Oh wow, I've logged in. Good. So I see I will see this course in your once I add you as a student, you will see this learner lab. So you go to learner lab over here. I have not tried this. Let's see if Q services you can try from here. But you get at least $100, and that is a good thing. Modules. And then foundational services. Okay, restoring. So every time you'll make sure you delete all the resources so that your billing, is not running. Your meter should not be on. So whatever you create, you stop and delete. Okay.
Okay, sir.
So here there is a start lab, end lab. So when you end lab, everything is going to be destroyed. So if you say I've used $0.2 of $100, and my AWS is not yet started, so I need to start it over here. So it will try to log in using a particular account, and once it is logged into a particular account, this will go green. Once it is green, you can operate it like your normal AWS. Your normal AWS screens, your website will come up using that test account. So now it has given me 4 hours, so in these 4 hours, let's say I create something but I did not destroy the resource, then that billing will still continue. So right now nothing is running. I made sure all the EC2 machines are off, is been kind of terminated, and so I don't have to make sure my billing is not on. So you need to, this $100 will be valid for 1 year. This is taking time, so to start your, it is trying to go to your cloud and initialize everything for you. Okay, remaining session time so much. So this session time is only for this particular session, right? Okay. No running instance. And this is taking time. Okay, so I should have recorded this part. Is that understood? Whatever I did?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so I can now, so let's create another queue just for, so I can have another queue which is, let's say I am processing, the first one was processing, let's say payments, right? So let's say my second queue is going to send SMS. So I'll say my SMS queue. And then I keep the settings as same and I say create queue. Then I send the messages over here and I'll say I want to send a SMS. Thank you for your order. number 1 product iPhone. We will soon get back to you when the order is being sent, and then I send the message and put it in the queue. So then I go in the queue and I'm polling the queue. Which queue I'm polling? I'm polling my my SMS queue, for example. So now how many queues I have right now? So let me go to
2.
this. I have 2 queues over here, and how many messages? So sorry, where it is? Why it is not coming? I didn't see it. Oops. My queue didn't save, is it? I created the queue, huh? Why it is gone? My SMS queue. So whatever I'm doing manually over here, it means I can okay, there are 2 messages already here. I sent 2 times, no? So let me poll for messages now. So now there are 2 messages in that queue. The first message I can read. Thank you for your order, and we will get back soon. Okay, done. Then second order. Thank you for your order number 1. Product iPhone will soon back to you. So whichever application is still there in the queue over here. It has not gone. So that is how you can use queues. Okay. So we'll be that is all for today, I guess.